Okay, once again, thank you everybody for coming to this workshop. And I would also like to thank the Horizon teams for making this possible. And since this is my workshop, I would like to set some house rule. Is that okay? It is very important that you follow this rule in the entire workshop. And the rule is, throughout the workshop, if you take any photos, please make sure that I'm looking good in the photo. It is very important, no double chin, my eyes not shut, belly is not showing, that kind of stuff. You know the drill. It's very important, so I will check your handphone before you leave. Okay, this is actually my very first trip to the UK. I don't know why. I work with a German company. So basically every year I come to Europe 1 time, 2 times, but I never visited UK. Started from year 2000 until like 2019. I always come to the Europe, but not the UK. You know why? Because before 2019, there was no Horizon Aquatics. So thanks again, Nicole, James, for inviting me over and giving me the chance to visit this beautiful country and see all the beautiful people here. Yeah. But although this is my first trip to the UK, but I'm not kidding you, I know a lot about your country. Really, a lot. I know like Spice Girls, David Beckham, James Bond, the Spice Girl, never mind. Even though this is I normally don't feel nervous during a workshop, but I'm actually kind of quite nervous right now. I don't know why, because I don't normally feel that nervous. I've been doing a lot of workshops before 2019. Yeah, but Green Aqua workshop was actually the last one. That was in 2019. And since then until today, there was no workshop in between. So I guess that is the reason why I'm feeling a bit nervous. 3 to 4 years now, I haven't done anything like this before. But I think the real reason that's making me pretty nervous is because I think this is the first time that I have to speak English in front of all these English people. That actually is freaking me out a little bit. As I told James some weeks ago, that I hope that we do not need a translator today. Because I come from Malaysia. Yeah, and Malaysia is a multiracial, multicultural society. And even though we speak English back in Malaysia, but our English is quite different from, we created a lot of words that you can't find in your Oxford dictionary. Yeah, so today I will try to discipline myself not to, use those words. And I hope you can understand, but if you don't understand, please pretend you understand. So that you won't hurt my feelings. I'm just kidding. If I say anything that you don't understand, please stop me, ask me. Yeah, I'm cool. Although this is my first trip, as I said already, but with the good people here and also the wet weather, pretty much like Malaysia, I'm feeling pretty much at home. So thank you very much. Okay, today let's talk about what we're going to do. This 120p, actually, it is not something that I'm familiar. Yeah, not about the 120. It is this 45 centimeter that I don't usually do a 45 centimeter depth tank because, for contests back home, I usually have a tank with 60 centimeter or even 70. So I think for contests, this extra 20 centimeter or so is quite useful, to create a kind of perspective impact that is normally very useful or important for contests. But today, it is a bit challenging, but I hope that with all your help, we can do something that is hopefully good. Yeah. Okay. How about, let's say, the concept that we're going to do today. Before I came over, actually, I discussed with James. I set myself a few criteria. Yeah. The first one, I think, is the most important one. I would like to do something different from what you see around you here. Yeah, don't get me wrong, they are all very beautiful tanks. But I think for a gallery, it is maybe better to do something different. Yeah, even though they are beautiful, but what we don't want to have the same style of tank. Yeah, you know, just like you guys, if you are allowed to have 2 girlfriends, you will want one blonde and one brunette. Don't deny, men will be men. You know, just now I almost used James as an example, but I noticed that Nicole was standing there, so yeah. But I don't have this problem in Malaysia. You know, in Malaysia we all have black hair only, so I only need one. You know, I have to say this just in case this part is being cut into the YouTube, and my wife will be watching. So you know. Okay, okay. This is the first criteria. We were going to do something hopefully different from what you see around here. The second one, I want to do something that it is more maintenance friendly. Yeah, because I think they have like 12, 11 tanks around here. Back home, if we have 1 or 2 tanks, I think doing maintenance is kind of enjoyable. You know, when we are doing maintenance, it's like for that 1 hour or 2 hours, it's like, you know, relaxing, and it takes the trouble away. A little bit like meditation to me. But if you have like 12 tanks, who the hell meditate for so long, right? So I want to do something that is maybe do not need so much of prune trimming, and the plant can stay in good shape over a longer period of time. So that is, let's say, the guideline. Yeah. The final criteria is actually related to my style, my scaping style. If you follow my work in the past, you will know that I did a lot of forests. Yeah, basically from the moment I start this hobby, it is like forest after forest after forest until 2017 that I created Congo. That was basically the last forest that I ever did. After Congo, I more or less completely switched my style to something more underwater, like a little bit of natural NA aquarium, NA. But I would say it is not pure NA, it is a bit like hybrid. So today we are going to do something like that. Yeah, so for some of you or all of you that is expecting to see a complicated forest layout, you might get disappointed. Can they get a refund? No?
No refund.
No refund, sorry. So you just have to, you know, pretend you are interested, and so that you won't hurt my feelings. Okay, okay. I just remember that I forgot to introduce myself. Yeah, my name is Josh, and in this community, everybody call me Josh. And do you know that that is not even my name? What is my name?
I can't even pronounce it.
That is exactly the reason I don't use my real name. You know, nobody can remember. It is hard to pronounce.
You told me last night.
Yeah,
though.
I told you last night. I told you last night. You know, so when I started the hobby like many years ago, I thought, yeah, just in case one day I got famous, I want somebody to remember my name. So I said, okay, Josh. But for no reason at all, that's how Josh Sim was born, you know. But Sim is my surname. It is, but Josh is just, I made it up. Yeah. I'm from Malaysia, I say already. I'm 15 years in this hobby. Yeah, I've been doing this thing for a pretty long time. I started with actually 2008. I try to keep shrimp, CRS, you know, the white, red, that kind of CRS shrimp. But I just can't keep them alive. You know, I was just killing shrimp after shrimp, and I bought a lot, and I just simply cannot keep them alive. So just on the verge of giving up, I somehow came across some article that telling me aquatic plants can actually stabilize the water and help to keep the shrimp alive. You know, so I started to buy aquatic plants. And then from that moment onward, I'm not only killing shrimp, I'm killing aquatic plants as well. You know, because I have no CO2, no lights, no soil. I just put aquatic plants in a tank with shrimp, and then I kill them both. You know, so then on the verge of giving up all that, Mr. Takashi Yamano came along. So I don't know, out of nowhere, I just saw this name, this guy, and I do some research, Google. Then I got a shock that actually aquascaping, or actually aquatic plant, can be used in that kind of way. you know, it's so amazing. It's like a culture shock to me. So I started to dig deeper, how to actually keep the plants. And yeah, that is when Jocelyn is born. Yeah, so from that moment, I thought, yeah, I have to do this seriously. That is how I got into this hobby. Yeah, I almost forgot to introduce all this. Okay, and today, this workshop, I want to do something maybe slightly different from the workshop that you guys visited or no, attended last time. In a normal workshop, the guys will be scaping here. You guys will be watching from there. I thought that is a bit boring. You know, most of the time you'll be seeing my backside, and I'll be blocking everything. So today I hope to do it slightly different in the way that I want you to participate, help me to scape. So I will invite some of you, or all of you, I don't know, to come over to help me to scape, if you will. Okay?
Don't be shy.
Don't be shy. Yeah, and actually there's one thing I forgot to mention. I'm 50 years old today. Not today, this year. And usually I don't like to be the oldest guy in the room. I really don't like. So I would like to ask, in the audience, are there anyone older than 50 years old? Please give me your hand. How many? 1, 2, 3. May I ask how old are you? 63. 52. 64. We have a champion. Come on. Come on.
Round of applause.
And come on. And I would like to thank these 3 gentlemen for making me not the oldest guy in the room. Yeah, so as a sign of gratitude, you get to have this calendar.
I'm 67.
Huh? Really? This is.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very
This
much.
is a compilation of my work for the last, my work and my aquascaping partners for the last, I don't know, 10, 15 years. This is our work inside. So, sorry for all those younger people. Yeah? Don't worry about it. Eh? Shame on you guys, younger people. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
So you see, it's not too bad being the older guys in the room. Yeah? I have a few more to give away. I don't know. Yeah, so let's see. Already 30 minutes and we haven't skipped a damn thing here. But don't worry, I have all this planned out. The schedule, I have all it's covered. I'm going to talk for 4 hours and then use the last hour to skip. Oh no, sorry. I think I will try to complete the HARDSCAPE, the main structure in maybe 1 to 2 hours, and then do some detailing for maybe 1 hour, and then the remaining time we use for planting. So all this, I hope that we should, or we can finish by 6 p.m. In the event that we cannot finish by 6, James will collect another 20 pounds from all of you towards the extra time. Right, James? Okay?
They're all giving me evils now.
Yeah, okay. Okay, let's get started. I think I talked too much. But one more thing to do before we start. Because James really won that extra 20 pounds, so I have to drag a little bit more. I would like to play a game before we start. And for this game, I would like to have, since I have 5 sticky notes, 5 colors, 5 volunteers. I won't eat you, so please. I need some mix of female and male. At least maybe 2 female, 1 male, or 2 female,
And
3.
you'll be going on YouTube.
Yeah, a rare chance.
Josh Sim Workshop.
Come on, 5
Come on, Rachel.
volunteers. 5 volunteers. Come on, come
Come
on.
on, I'll plug you.
Put your name on it. Just write your name. 1 piece. Write your name. Okay. 1 more. Maybe a lady?
That's in the middle. Long brown hair.
Just write your name on it. Easy game. Trust me, very easy. The pen, just pass around the pen. Get your name on the sticky notes.
That was the challenge done, right?
Easier than that. Okay. I would like you guys to guess where is the vanishing point for the tank that I'm going to do. Vanishing point means the end point. I mean the empty area, like here. You know, this empty area. Where is this vanishing point here for the tank that I'm going to do? So just take out the piece of paper that with your name on it. Simply stick it on this back panel where you think this vanishing point will be. Anywhere in the tank, just stick it wherever you think it will be. So how we determine the winners, I will not announce now. So I will skate. Whoever that their names got covered by the HARDSCAPE, you are eliminated from the game. Or the plants or the substrate, if your name is covered, then you are out. So we will have only, I don't know how many winners, can be more than one. Yeah, so let's forget about this. We will start scaping. Okay, we will find out at the end or maybe in the middle of the process who gets it correctly. Actually, I also do not know where, but let's see. And I promise you I will not change the scape because I already prepared yesterday. So I will not, let's say, change the scape to give whoever the advantage. Okay, let's do it. You know, normally when I skate, the first question will be, do I put in the wood first or the substrate first? Actually, you can do it either way. Back home, for my contest tank, I would say 80% of the time I do it with substrate because I reuse them. So when I reuse my soil, I don't take them out. I just leave it in a tank and then I will just skip straight away. But every, let's say 2 years or 3 years, I will just change totally the substrate and then I will skip with a new, let's say an empty tank without substrate. So today we can do it both ways. I was discussed with some friends here because the woods that I selected today are not really that big. And this is a 50 centimeter tank. So ideally, I wanted my substrate to be at least at, let's say 40 centimeter height. Yeah, so that it gives enough impact and also leave enough space for the plant to show. So 40 centimeter. I do not know how it will work. I would think that maybe I will put in this lava rock first, just to elevate the base a little bit. Yeah. I don't know how many I need. Pavo, can you maybe just help me with some? Okay, all names are still alive. That's it now. Let's try on the HARDSCAPE to see how to check the level. So I think now we have about 40 centimeter. Yeah, this is maybe, I don't know, 10 centimeter, give or take. And with this, we have to eliminate one person. I'm sorry. So
That is eliminated.
sorry, this Rachel, where's yours?
Just below Max.
below
Yeah,
here?
yeah.
Okay.
Mine was there as well, I think.
Dan is feeling shaky now. I do not know whether this will be the final position because I had to put in a few pieces of wood and then to do some final adjustment. Yeah, I'm actually doing the easier side first. This side will have 3 main woods only. Yeah, so this side will have a few more combination. So let's see, put on the second wood.
If anyone has any questions, literally put your hand up.
Yeah. Okay. Can you take out the rock for me?
Josh, can I ask you a question?
Sure.
When you're preparing your tank for the contest, how long do you take to search for information or for any inspiration for that contest tank? And did it change compared to the past and the current times?
It changed. I mean, as I said, in the past, I always do forest. So when during the time when I did a lot of forest, I get the reference from all those, let's say, drawings or photos on forest. Now I do more underwater layout. So my source of, let's say, inspiration come from all the underwater photography. You know, so, and also some, I live in an area where, you know, forests all around. So it is also quite easy for me to go to forest and, let's say, observe the stream and the lakes and all this. So it kind of changed. And as for how long, it really depends. Sometimes the idea can just come like that, and sometimes you struggle for weeks and months without any idea how to do. So it really depends. Yeah, it can be very quick or it can be forever.
And do you ever go with the flow, as we say, or do you just always search for that inspiration for the contest tank?
If I set my mind on something, I will try to really do it. As I told some of you, this year actually I started my IAPLC contest tank 2 months ago and it failed. I have a concept that I thought it's nice, but after 2 months it turned out to be not so to my expectation. So I'm going to tear down the tank and I will start the same concept again. And so this is how I think if I feel very strongly about something, even if I fail one time, I will still try to do the same concept again until, you know, I give up. Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, I would like to introduce to you this rock that I'm going to use today. I think this is kind of new. Yeah, I would say I haven't seen anybody use this rock before. I saw it in the HARDSCAPE room yesterday. I thought, yeah, it could be interesting. It is not conventional, but as I say, I'm doing something more underwater. So this kind of round rocks can actually enhance the, let's say, the underwater feeling. Yeah, of course, any other rock is fine, but I just thought, you know, it could be fun, you know, to do something that nobody has done it before. Yeah. I need to put this rock first because I want this piece of, this is quite, let's say, flat. So I want to elevate it a little bit. Okay, as I said, this may not be final because I think we will still have to make some final adjustment after everything is done because I will not be gluing them so soon. One thing I would like to maybe share with you, everybody is talking about creating impact. especially if you are going for contests. Everybody says, I want my tank to be impactful. So, but what is impact? What is impact? A lot of people, let's say aquascapers, personally I feel they understood the concept of impact kind of, let's say wrong. Actually, it's not wrong, just maybe different. Many people thought that to create impact, you have to pack the tank with a lot of big and huge hardscape, a lot, like fill up the tanks. This, maybe to some of them, this is impact. I feel that is maybe, as I said, I can't say it's wrong, but it's different from what I understand. I'll give an example. Let's say you are standing on a platform. You're standing on a platform. Let's say 100 feet, which is very tall, very high. And this is like also 100 feet in area, which is also a very big area. Then, you know, a platform like this, and you are standing on top of this in a very tall but very wide area. Will you feel scared? No, because you don't have the worry or the danger of falling, because even though this is very high, but you are standing in a very big area, you won't feel nervous, you won't feel scared because you are secure, right? But if I ask you to stand on a pole 100 feet, same, and this is like maybe a 1 foot area, you are standing on top, will you feel scared? You will, because there's nothing around you and you might fall down. So impact, this impact in the aquascaping sense, it means we want to create something that makes people feel uneasy, scared, maybe uncomfortable, ominous, mysterious, maybe let's say some kind of danger. That is impact, you know. So if you are packing your tanks with hardscape all over, that is not impact, that is congestion to me. I mean, you are just blocking everything. Compared to something like this, you need some empty space around you to show that kind of impact. Otherwise, you don't have that impact. So I like to, let's say, actually, as I said, this is actually my personal view. It is okay to disagree, but this is how I view this impact. So I go back to this. Many people will say I should put something here, yeah, just to make this thing huge, big. But personally, I feel this empty area is very important. If I pack this empty area with more woods, this piece will become a big chunk. You lost the impact. You need the empty space to showcase the, you know, this piece that is, to make it more impactful. You cannot fill this space. This is how I, let's say, understand the whole concept of trying to create something more impactful. There are many ways to do it. This is how I personally feel. Yeah? Okay, let's put the third piece. And now we have 2 pieces of wood pointing to that side. I mean, to somehow balance it a little bit, this piece, it has to go that way. Of course, it is not wrong if everything go that way, but I feel that to give it a little bit more tension, balance, I want this piece to somehow come this way a little bit. Yeah? It will be something like this. We have to find a way to fit it. Okay, I need a piece of rock. Dan still alive? Dan, who's Dan? Where's Dan? I have to say that you are eliminated as well. Yeah, sorry. When we scape a tank, normally I try to avoid having the hardscape arranged in a way that it is parallel to the front panel. Imagine this is your tank. Let's say top view, if you see the tank from top. If we are arranging our hardscape, let's say parallel to the front glass, the perspective is not there. I think I mentioned something also in other workshop. So normally we try to do it this way, or this way. Try to create some kind of angle, let's say perspective. It will help you to build the layers, depth, and it will make your tank, let's say, more open up. Personally, because I'm judging some of the contests as well, if we build something like this, let's say parallel to this, it is like blocking people. You are not welcoming people to your tank. I think that is not a good feeling. When we see a tank, you want to let people, let's say, go into your tank. So we need to have some kind of opening, like some space, so that people can walk into your tank. I think that is very important. So try not to arrange something that is like pushing people away. As a viewer, let's say audience, when you look at a tank, whether it's in live tank or photo, you want to feel welcome. You don't want the tank to be like a wall and then pushing you away. So we should try to avoid doing that. Yeah. So in this case, I hope that I can tilt the whole set of the hardscape this way a little bit. Okay, actually this is not that bad because it is coming in and out, so it is not really straight. But I will try to maybe tilt it a little bit more so that it can have some kind of angle. I don't know whether I can do it. I did it in the dojo yesterday, but this is a little bit different. Okay, now maybe you don't see it much from your angle, but if I see from top, now it is like this. Yeah, this is to the front. This piece is more to the back. So it is like this. Yeah, just now it was more straight. So I try to tilt it a little bit. The whole effect will show after we fill up the rest.
Can I just ask, is Dan back in now?
Sorry?
Is Dan back in now?
It's a fair question. Nobody remember where is he? Let's give him a chance, yeah? Let's give him a chance, okay? Yeah, okay, Dan is back. Yes? You have to tear the calendar and share it with Eddie later. Yeah, good point, yeah. Sorry. The main structure for the left side is almost done, but it is not final still. I will have to add more details, yeah, and we haven't glued it. Now I try to build the right side. The right side to me is maybe slightly more tricky because I don't have enough big pieces to match that side. So I will have to put one piece of top and another, so just to build that kind of bulk and height. Let's put some of this. Later on, when it comes to the details, I would want you guys to do it. Yeah, because I thought it could be cool, 30, 40 years down the road, you can tell your grandson, grandkids, hey, I scaped a tank in Horizon Aquatic. Not many people get the chance to do it. Yeah, but the most important thing, if this tank turned out to be not so good, it is not entirely my fault. We are all in this together. That is the main purpose, okay? Okay, we have a brush. Yeah. I'm doing this brushing because I need a rest, not because I really need to do it.
Anyone got any questions so far?
Except for my English, you can ask anything. Mark, Rachel, Simon, do you want to change your position? I give you a chance. And Dan, do you want to change? You can change now. Last chance to change. No? Stay?
I'll change.
You change? Yeah. Please.
While he's changing his position, can I ask, Josh?
Yes.
What was your process of thinking before this workshop? What did you have in mind? Did you have plants in mind first, and then to maybe go with the hardscape to fit the plants, or your selection, or the other way around, or combined together?
As I say, I set myself a few criteria, but the hardest thing is that I have not seen the hardscape until yesterday. James sent me some. Yeah, James sent me some crappy video of the hardscape. So that is the most challenging part. Yeah, so I do not know what to expect. So actually, I did some sketches, crappy sketches. But then, to be honest, whatever I sketched, it is not what I do today. I have the idea of creating really some underwater feeling kind of layout. Yeah, so I try to go along that line. And the plants, you mentioned the plants. Actually, I try to choose those plants that it is, as I said, easier to maintain, and then can, let's say, maintain the good shape over a longer period of time. So all these bits and pieces, I put it together, and then yesterday I was working in the dojo, try to figure out and try to put all this together to come up with the concept. But to be honest, I do not have a really fixed one until yesterday. Yeah.
It's always difficult.
Yeah, especially for this kind of a live workshop, it can be tricky, especially when audiences asking a lot of questions and all this. Yeah.
I just want to give you a break.
Thank you. And this side, perhaps I want to make it slightly lower than the other side, because it is always better not to have both sides same height. You want to give it a little bit of difference in height, yeah, to create a kind of flow, let's say, and not to make it too symmetrical. Yeah, so this side I don't have to be as high as that side, so I think I don't have to do this. As I say, this side will be slightly more tricky because I have to combine a few more pieces of wood to create a kind of shape or impact that I want. This piece, basically, it is just for the base. At the end, you might only see this part. This part, I think if I remember correctly, you can't see much of this part. When you are working alone, and most of us work alone, I don't think your wife will help you. Yeah, so when it comes to this kind of situation, how do you deal with it? Normally, I will use a cable tie to temporarily hold it. And because this is so easy to change, you can cut it or whatever. So I would, it just can't stay in place. Yeah, so I would just use a cable tie to temporarily just hold it. I don't know whether this will be the final position, so I just temporarily hold it. Okay. And to me, these two pieces is the most difficult part in the entire setup, because I need to combine them. And as I say, this tank is only 45 centimeter, and these two pieces combined, it is actually quite long. So if this tank is like another 10-15 centimeter, I would be very easily fit these two inside. But now I have to maneuver a little bit. So a little bit not so ideal, but let's see. I want to put them like this. Yeah, okay. So it should go down here, but yesterday when I was trying it, it's hitting this. So we have to maybe push this one to the back a little bit. What if we don't have any winners? It could happen, I think. Let's see. Okay, because in the front we haven't put in any sand substrate, and I do not want to lose the overall height of the wood, because if I just pour in the substrate or the sand, some of this will be covered, which I try to avoid, because imagine if, let's say, the sand covered until here, the overall height of that thing is shrinking. I want to avoid that. So what I'm going to do is that I'm using these smaller pieces of lava rock. I try to find those with flat surface, yeah, so it can sit firm on the ground, and then I try to see whether I can lift it up a little bit so that the soil will maybe cover here or the sand, and the whole piece of wood is still visible. Yeah, let's try to do it. I'm not sure whether I can't. Yeah, so this piece is possible. So I would imagine that my sand will be maybe until here. So this whole piece is still visible. If I don't do that, the sand maybe will cover until here. Yeah, and this piece. Got this piece first. This piece may be too high. And try, if you are doing this, if you are using this technique, try not to find the wood that is too big. You want something flat and then maybe slim, so that when you, let's say you need to plant, this won't get in the way. Yeah, so try to find something that is just, just nice to go underneath this piece of wood and not too wide. Otherwise you cannot plant around the wood. So, this kind of shape would be nice, but this piece is too big, too tall. Okay, this is a bit, as you say, very straight, right? So where is, yeah. I found this, yeah. But we have to do this after we fix all this. Yeah, so I will use this later to somehow camouflage it. Yeah, so to give it a little bit more textures and some, curve. This piece is really too straight, so good eyes. Yeah. But we have to fix this one first, otherwise this won't work. Okay. I think this will be basically the, let's say, the main structure of this layout. I think it is like maybe 60%. We still have to add some details on it, but the main structure is almost done. Yeah, so we are very much ahead of time. I think you don't get a chance to earn that extra 20 pounds. Okay, let's glue it. Let's glue the main structure. Who want to help me? Gluing? Yeah, so you can help me gluing. So sharing some of my responsibility if, let's say, this is not so good. I use toilet paper.
Hands together for Pavel Kalander.
If you are gluing with tissue paper or toilet paper, try to find the toilet paper that is the bad quality one. There are those that will break easily one, because this glue will we want the glue to dissolve the paper, so don't use those very high quality paper.
Josh,
Yes.
as a contest aquascaper, Are you always focused on just the front view of the tank when you're scaping? At
Yes.
home, obviously, we sit in our homes and we look at the tanks from lots of different angles.
Did
But
you,
when you do contests, do you always scape just from a frontal view?
did you read my note? Because I have exactly this to explain. So now, since you are asking, I will explain. I didn't know you can read Chinese. That is a very good question. And I learned this. This is not from me. I learned this from some seniors that taught me a lot. This is your tank or our tank. If we only see the tank from front view, you are looking at a two-dimensional design. So I would say that if let's say we are going for contest, or not even contest, in general, we shouldn't view our tank two-dimensional. We should always see our tank this way. How to draw it? We should always see our tank as a cube. So when we design something, try not to, actually this is a bit similar to what I said just now, don't put everything straight. So we should always view our tank as a three-dimensional cube. So when we design something, try to let the hardscape go all direction. Even though from front, sometimes you don't get to see it that much, but once everything is filled up, the 3D effect will come up. So we shouldn't only see it from this side. Yeah, you should always keep in mind that your tank is a cube, 3D. That is very important. Yeah, so don't try to always, let's say, put everything in a 2D perspective. Doing good?
Yeah. What do you want to use to cover? Soil?
We will do the covering later on. Who else want to try to glue? No? If it fails, I won't blame you.
I know your most recent contestscapes have been based on like a unique fish choice or habitat. Did you have that in mind for this setup? I know you said it's an underwater feeling.
For this?
For this scape, do you have an idea in mind about sort of the plant choices you're using or the fish?
Ideally, if I'm doing something with this kind of rock, it is really, I want to portray some kind of river, that kind of atmosphere. So I would like to use some fish that is maybe ideally slightly longish, and the color should be more toned down a little bit. I don't want to have like neon, shiny blue, red color. It should be slightly more earthy color, like, I don't know, brown, but slightly longish. That would be ideal. But again, this is a gallery tank, so I would say it is maybe not so critical. But if let's say this is my contest tank, I would really try to avoid like the very flashy color kind of fish. Yeah,
That's useful. And say for your contest at home, is the fish the starting point, or do you go more with the hardscape design and then?
depends. In the past few years, I did some tank where it's, let's say, inspired by the fish choice. Like the 2020, I used the Autumn Angel. That is, I know what fish I want to use before I create the scape. And also 2 years back, I used the Pearl Gourami, the face, 2018. That is also the tank where I really set my mind on the fish, and then I create the rest. And also maybe the Samurai for sure. Samurai is the tank I like very much. I really try to create some, let's say, the actual habitat for this fish. But there are also some other tanks that I don't have a fish in mind when I'm doing this. So it depends. So it can be a fish-inspired layout, or it can be the fish can be an afterthought. Like everything is completed, then I just go to the fish shop and see, okay, this is good, then I use it. It can be either way. Are we good? Yeah. Time is running out. This side, maybe let give Pavo some rest.
Round of applause.
Anyone to help me on this side? Calendar. No? Anyone? Gluing? Yeah, okay, Mark.
Hands together for Mark HARDSCAPE.
The paper is here. So this side is actually less risky than this side because we are not stacking anything, but we still have to somehow, we maybe this point between the rock and the wood, and maybe this point and this point. I need to take a look at. Yep, okay. This is Gupong, his name. My son insists that I bring him. Yeah, wherever I go, when I travel. And he sleeps with me at night. I have to put beside my pillow. And this roots, I feel that it is naturally sinking. But I mean, just in case, nothing is too safe. I mean, we have to be really safe. Otherwise, once you fill the water, and disaster could strike. So I always try to be very safe. Of course. And now I really want you guys to come out and help me with this rock. Yeah, so we can start from here. You pick one rock, put it inside. If I don't like it, I will take it away. Yeah. This one, not yet, but we can do it later. Yeah, we'll do it later. You need a rest.
High as a cake.
So just pick a rock. The big one maybe slightly to the front. No, you just help yourself. Yeah. You can skip if you don't want to do it. It's fine. Your grandson will be disappointed next time. Okay, come on. If you want to try, please put the the rock. This is the easiest workshop I ever done. Yeah. You know, I want to tell a story. In 2010, please continue. Escape, okay, fine. In 2010, Mr. Amano went to Malaysia to conduct a workshop. Yeah, so he was doing a tank and, you know, doing his stuff. And then a question from the audience asked him, how do you put the rocks in? Is there any special technique when you are putting in those rocks in front and the back? You know what his answer is? He said, I just throw them in. And then, it is not a joke, he just throw everything in and then he take out whatever that is not right. So he did not actually arrange the rock piece by piece. He's basically just taking a bunch and then just throw them in. And then he is arranging the rocks that this piece is not right. He's taking out the rocks. So he's putting a lot of rock in and then start to remove them. This is his technique. Yeah, so, question? For me or for Jack?
For you.
Yeah.
We talked before about securing everything down during the hardscaping process. Have you yourself ever had any disasters where maybe you didn't secure it so well and everything rose to the top in a competition or just in your home tanks?
For 15 years I've been doing this thing, I think it never happened.
Really?
It never happened.
That's lucky.
I'm a very cautious guy.
This time yet.
I'm a very cautious guy. This rock looks not bad. This rock. My let's say not tips, but my experience is that try to mix the big one and the small one. Don't put all the big one together. Just try to put the big one and then beside you have some small one so you can see the, let's say, some contrast. Yeah.
Josh,
Yeah.
just a question.
Yeah.
Do you have a favourite hardscape material? Like a favourite wood, favourite type of stone you tend to go back to and use regular?
Yes, I always recycle my stuff, actually. It is not about favorite. I'm poor. Yeah, but you know, my style lately is all about underwater kind of feeling. So I have, let's say, actually I have a big pile of wood. So I always go back to the same. But you know, it is all about permutation. Yeah, a same piece of wood, you turn it around or you do it the other way, it can give you a totally different kind of feeling. So as I say, it is not about my favorite kind of wood, but you know, whatever that suits my concept. I always believe that there is no bad hardscape. I mean, you go to a shop, any piece of hardscape is useful, depending on how you use them. So there is no bad hardscape, it is only bad executor, I say. Yeah, so really, if you have a good idea on how to do some special design, any hardscape is possible. You know, I give you an example. In 2018, there's one scaper from China, Wang Chao. I'm not sure whether you know him. He is using this kind of wood. You know, just a piece of block, and he just cut them into slices. And he's building a platform. He's building a platform using this kind of wood, and then the scape is something like this, and it's fantastic. And this kind of wood, nobody would thought about it, but he used it in this way. So as I say, there is no bad hardscape depending on your execution. Yeah, so I really don't have a favorite one, but as I have a big pile, so I always go back to the same, because my design is more or less that kind of wood is very suitable for my design. I'm adjusting this piece of rock not because of its position. I just want to stop the soil or the lava from falling down, so I try to close this gap.
Josh, with the lava rock, you've just put it in loose.
With this lava?
When I do it at home, I bag everything to keep it separate.
Yeah, I did the same at home. They didn't provide any bag for me. I do the same at home. I don't use this lava rock. I use the hydroponic clay, the round one, this ball. So I put them in a net. So I just put them in bag. So when I rescape, I just take out everything so it doesn't mix with the soil. Yeah, I told you yesterday, right?
Yeah, yesterday.
They still didn't listen to me. So you.
Do you need some more volunteers?
Yep.
Should we go start next row?
You know, yesterday evening we went to a restaurant. James, Nicole, Charlotte, MJ, and Eddie. Yeah. During the dinner, these guys, they are cracking jokes, and you know, I'm laughing all night long, but I actually do not know what you guys are talking about. I just thought that if everybody is laughing, I'm not laughing, it is rude. Really.
In a way, I'm kind of glad that you didn't understand what we were saying.
While he's doing it, maybe I can fill the soil. We will have sand foreground. And so we have to be careful. Just now I was thinking how to avoid the soil from going through here, we have to put some rocks so that to prevent the soil from coming up to the sand. Let me tell you maybe the idea. I will not have a sand path because lately I do not really fancy sand path. We will have a sand foreground, and the sand will go, this will be soil, but I want the sand to come up slightly to here, this area, and it will stop. We will plant this area, so the sand will not continue. It will stop here, and I want to have a sand like a, I don't know, it's not a path, but I want to have this area with sand. So it's like a sand platform, yeah, something like that. And then this will be planted, and the sand I think will be something this high. That will be my vanishing point. So the vanishing point will be here, yeah. So we take out then, yeah. And I think I have to take out Simon.
I should have moved it.
Yeah, yeah, I should have moved it, yeah. And I think we could have two winners, I don't know. Let's see. We didn't glue this piece, but it is fantastic because I want to live it up a little bit. I think it's time to give away some more calendar. We have the oldest. How about the youngest? Only one winner. Who is the youngest in this room? If you think you are the younger, please tell me your age.
6.
Okay.
22.
Anyone younger than 22? 22? Congratulations. You have calendar?
Round of applause.
I have to reserve 2 for the potential winner. 3 more. 3 more. Okay. Who traveled the furthest to attend this workshop?
You did.
We have from Holland and Norway.
Yes.
Who can beat these two guys? Holland or who is further? Holland or Norway?
Norway.
Yeah. Who? Okay. Norway. But we have 3 from Norway. One already have it, and you guys, I assume, are couples. Yeah. So I give 1. You can share. Okay. Okay. And to be fair, coming from Norway is a cheat code. So, who from the UK traveled the furthest to attend this workshop?
Us.
Yeah?
South of England, yeah.
I don't know where is it. So anyone can verify they are the furthest. Any objection?
About the same, are we?
1 each then.
Same?
4 hours.
4 hours?
4 hours driving.
Yeah.
But he sit the closest to me. I don't want to walk so far. So 1 more? Yeah. Okay. To be fair, yeah. I will just finish up the rock, yeah? Basically, it's almost done, I think, the rock. Okay, as I say, I want to fill up this space. Where's a smaller, yeah, this smaller rubber. But the disadvantage of let's say filling up with this rock is that it is will be a bit difficult to plant later, because we are not going to have a very thick soil in this area, and these are actually a bit too too thick. So we can choose some plant that do not need to be, let's say, to be inserted too deep. I think it should be okay still. But basically, if we have the sand layer slightly higher, then the soil won't come out as well. So don't worry about it. As I said just now, I want to build some kind of a sand platform here. So I will need some rocks as a divider. I will need some really smaller one, because this will be something quite far. So I just need a smaller one, yeah, something like this. Yeah, but it is fine because we can insert the rock slightly deeper so that it won't show that much. So the idea of having the location of the, let's say, the vanishing point is always, let's say, at 2 and 3, that kind of ratio. So this is halfway, let's say the center of the tank. Usually the vanishing point will be somewhere here or somewhere here. It depends on how you fit the layout. So we usually do not put the vanishing point right at the center or too much to the left or right. So it should be always somewhere here or somewhere here. That is the golden section that you hear guys talking about it. Yeah. So I would choose this one as my vanishing point for this scape. Most of this rock will actually be covered by sand actually. So you only see a little bit of it. So it may look too big now, but once I put the sand here, actually the sand will cover up until here. So you don't see a lot of rock actually. The sand that I'm choosing today is the Mekong sand. So this sand is ADA sand, right? It is a bit blackish color. It is actually, I think if you look closely, there's some black color sand mixed inside. So I think personally I feel it matched pretty well with this rock. If I choose a very light color sand, the contrast with this rock will be too much. So I choose that sand, so slightly blackish. So I think it matched quite well with this rock. We will put in the sand first. We can't put in the sand first. We have to make sure that all the soils are all filled up. If we put the sand first and then you still want to put the soil, then it can get mixed up very easily. So we have to make sure that all this area has to fill up with soil.
Josh.
Yep.
What's your favourite part about aquascaping?
I can tell you the least favorite part.
We'll go with that.
2. My least favorite part is actually taking the photo. For contest, the contest photo, that is stressful. A few months of hard work all came down to that click, so very stressful. The second least favorite, of course, is to tear down the tank. My favorite part is actually when the tank is empty before I do anything. That moment is precious. Sometimes my wife says I'm crazy because I'm sitting here looking at an empty tank, nothing. I can stare at the empty tank for a very long time. In my mind I was thinking, how should I do it? But can you imagine if a guy sitting in front of an empty tank like hours? I'm doing that, and I like that moment. It's like a blank canvas, and your imagination can really go wild, and I like that moment, really. Yeah.
Josh.
Yep.
Obviously, contest scaping, as long as you have been, you obviously enjoy that process and you enjoy the tank you use. But do you ever miss not having a variety of tanks to work with, different sizes, working on a smaller scale? No.
I like big tank. I like big tank because I think I started with 60, and I feel that it is a bit too a lot of limitation. So actually, I can't go back to a small tank now. But if you put it another way, actually, I enjoy making tank not for contest as well, because actually contest tank is actually quite difficult to maintain. Yeah, I like to have also very soothing and calm tank at home that I can just sit back and look at it, but not size wise. I think I still prefer slightly bigger one. Maybe personally I think the smallest that I would go is 120, this size. Yeah. So I don't miss the small one. Yeah. So I think the soil is almost there. I will try to plant here slightly higher because we want to keep these areas as our vanishing point. So the plants will more or less highest on this side and then slowly come down to here, and then same thing on this side. And I'm actually thinking, should I create a break somewhere here? Not as a vanishing point, meaning I do not want the tall plant to be all the way here. So a break is always good. Yeah, we'll see later when we plant. Before we put the sand, yeah, I almost forgot about that. We have to do some detailing work. This is not done. The main structure is done. We need to do some detailing work, like something like this. Yeah, I have a few more pieces to put here. Something like this would be looking good. Yeah, this. What do you think? I need a cable tight. Of course, I can ask somebody else to glue it while I hold it, but at home, this is how I do it. Yeah, I put a cable tight and then I can let go and then I can just do whatever I want. And the good thing is that with the cable tight, I can see whether it's correct or not. I don't want to glue it immediately. After that, you know, because if I see it from here, I think it's good, but it may not be good looking from that side. So, what do you think? Do I need to adjust?
No.
It's good?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, then we glue it. Can't believe that this is the first time I'm gluing today. Thank you for... it will be embarrassing if I cut this and this piece fall down. Yeah. This piece will be harder to glue. Of course, I can still tight, but I want to maybe share with you another technique without gluing it, which is still using the cable tight. Where's mine? Yeah. You can actually tie some rocks at the bottom, but this rock maybe is not so suitable because it's very round. Yeah, okay. We can tie and then just put on it, and then try to find a way to camouflage this one. I did that. But for this tank, maybe it's not so much a good idea because the color is too bright, and I'm not going to cover it with moss. Normally, I cover it with moss. For example, I tie like this, and then I just wrap the whole thing with moss, and then the cable tie is not visible anymore. Yeah, but in this case, I would say gluing maybe is still better. Yeah, but this is the technique that you can use. This tank is a bit too tall for Asian guy. Really, my cabinet at home is not so tall. It is maybe, this is 80, mine is 70.
Shall I come up and lift you?
And what I will do next is that I want to make this part slightly more dramatic. Yeah, so I will add some wood this way to make it, you know, like more futuristic look. Yeah, now I feel that it's a bit too simple. I want to give it slightly more, let's say, more impact. Yeah, I saw this wood yesterday. It is different kind of wood. What's this wood?
You've got dragon wood, and I think you've also got manzanita wood.
Yeah, okay. You know, this kind of wood, personally, I feel that it is maybe a little bit difficult to use it alone to create a scape, unless you have a very good concept to match. But I like to use it. I have this also back home. I like to use this to create a kind of, you know, pointy effects. It looks different color, but after 1 or 2 months, they will all be the same color. Yeah, so I like to use this kind of wood to, you know, making this kind of effect. Yeah, maybe we can also do it this side, but this piece maybe is too long. But when you do this, you have to be careful that the ending here might be visible. But of course, we have to compromise because in order to hide this part is not protruding that much longer. So we have to make some compromises. What do you think? Do you want to make it like this and we do something here? Or do you think it's better that we just do like this? What do you think?
A little bit further out.
Further up. Okay, so we try to cover up this part, okay? While you guys are happily snacking away, I'm working hard here. I just explained to you what I did over the last 30 minutes or so. I added these two pieces, this and this, okay? I added this piece. I added this piece. I added this piece. So this is while you guys are having a break. Oh, sorry. And actually, this whole piece, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, these are all added. I want to make this slightly more power, to give it slightly more power. So I want to build let's say, make it look bulky a little bit. So these are all added. I added this piece. This. Why is it? Okay, this is not glue. This is not glue. I just use some rock to. But if it float, it float. I mean, this is not a very small piece. I hope it doesn't float. And I raise this platform because after adding this piece, actually it blocked somehow. So we haven't added sand here. So I will add sand to further raise it up a little bit. Maybe the sand will be maybe 2 centimeters or so. Let's see, I don't know. Let's see the effects. I'm also using this this sponge. I break it up and I insert into all this kind of area below the rock, hoping that the soil doesn't come out. But I think this is more or less like an insurance, a precaution only, because once we have enough sand, basically the soil shouldn't slide out. But this is just an insurance. Okay, that is what I did for the last 30 minutes. We are almost done with the detailing now, I think. Okay, I added some pieces of rock here and there. And just for the record, I did not remove any of your rocks. So whoever that put rocks inside there, congratulations. You are part of the tank now. Yeah? What I will do now is to add sand. Yeah, because I think everything is almost done. We will add sand and see how's the effects and then do the final fine tuning. Yep. These are giant cable tie. You have some special kind of hobby?
No. Why did that take me so long to kind of twig onto that then?
As I said, these are Mekong sand. A little bit blackish. Yeah, there's some black sand inside, mixed inside, so I think it should go well with the stone that we chose. Looks like one bag is enough, or maybe too much. What I always do is that I will let the sand to, let's say, cover up the soil a little bit, just to further prevent it from sliding down. Because anyhow we'll be planting this. So the sand over here you can't see. Try to fill up all this small gap. Yeah. For this height, the sand, normally I would try to keep it below 2 centimeters. Anyone know the reason? Compaction?
Sense of depth. It takes the depth of your...
Correct. Because if let's say we have like very thick sand, it somehow compromises what is at the back. it make the whole scape look not so deep if you have very thick sand here. So I try to normally keep it, depending on whether I'm planting, how much I'm planting. So I think 2 centimeter is a good, let's say a guideline, 2 centimeter. Don't do it too thick. Don't worry about the rock that's being covered by the sand. Once the water is in, if you want to make the rock more visible, you can just siphon out the sand that is covering the rock. Or what I would normally do is that I will just lift up the rock a little bit, shake it off, and then this rock is there again. So if let's say this rock is missing now, you just lift it up a little bit, shake it a little bit, then it is back again. Yeah, so don't worry about that. We have a very small gap here. I think it is enough to scrap the tank glass for algae. So I think it should be fine.
There you go, Paul.
Usually I don't bother to level the sand at this point because once the water is in, but for the workshop, we try to do it nicely because you guys are going to take the photo for the hardscape only. So I think usually I don't bother to level the sand. Okay, foreground is almost done. As I said, I want to leave this area with soil so I can plant. This will be sand, so let's fill up that area. I learned my mistake, so I'm using the scoop. No. If you want to raise the platform of this sand, what you should do is that you should adjust it step by step. Meaning, if you see just now what I did, I put the sand and then I raise the rock a little bit and then put more sand, raise a little bit, put more sand, raise a little bit. You don't one shot build the rock so high and then just pour the sand in. That is not the correct way. So you can, for example, this part I cannot, currently I cannot put in more sand because the sand is already higher than rock. So what I do is that I will just raise the rock a little bit and then you have a few more millimeter to raise the sand. So keep doing that so the sand level will keep coming up. So that is the correct way to do it. The sand should be always slightly higher than the soil, just to prevent the soil from going to the sand. This is what I usually do. And there are actually a lot of holes inside here that is currently hollow. As much as we can, just fill up with sand, not soil. Yeah, you can't see it, but just to prevent the soil from coming out. So I normally fill up as much as I can with sand here. All this small, like this. Yeah, like this, fill up with sand. I need somebody sitting from the back to tell me whether this sand platform is high enough. Because is it visible enough to you? Or do you think that it should be higher?
So not too high. Just
Go up a little bit higher.
I would say it
Yeah.
should be a little bit.
Okay, let's do it.
Josh,
Yes.
do you have any other hobbies that influence your design decisions?
Other hobby
Yeah.
that influence my design? Yes, I like trekking, and I collect a lot of jungle plants, wild jungle plants. So when I go for this kind of trekking, sometimes there's waterfall, streams, that sometimes can give me some ideas, and also I collect those rocks and maybe some interesting woods from all this this other hobby. So that somehow, yeah, is related slightly. As for the other hobbies, I think just that. How about the platform? When the water goes in, it will come down a little bit more. Maybe a few, let's say 5 millimeter more, a little bit more. Can see quite a lot because you are standing. But I think this part, it can be easily fixed later on as well. Even after you fill up the water, if you think that the sand level is not high enough, we can add the sand, no problem. If you see anything not right, please tell me. Yeah, because I normally don't scape a tank that, normally I will put one words and I will go there and sit and see whether it's correct or not. I don't do this today. So you are my eyes today. Yeah, if you see anything not right, please tell me. Yeah.
And this takes me to question, Josh.
Yep.
How long do you usually wait until you fill the tank and plant? And do you like to do dark start method?
I always do dark start, like for 2 weeks or 3 weeks to be ideal, because I think it helps me to reduce the algae problem at the beginning. Yeah, I think plants grow better with old water. We call it old water. Now, fresh water normally is the plant tend to melt more, but if you keep the water cycling for like 3 weeks, the plants can grow immediately without much melting problem. So I always do dark start. Dark start means without the light. I just fill the tank with water, no plants, no CO2, and on the filter. Just let it run without anything. Yeah, sometimes if you want to put some beneficial bacteria, it's fine. But I don't do that because 3 weeks is enough to grow any bacteria inside. Some people like to put some fish because, you know, to complete the cycle, the ecosystem. Fish, you have to feed them and their poops and everything. So, you know, but I don't do that. I just let them cycle for 3 weeks and then I start planting. The disadvantage of doing that is that if you want to do moss, that could be a problem because once you put in water and if I want to type moss here, it could be challenging. So what I would do is that normally in these kind of cases, I will type the moss, let's say on a piece of wood, not this piece, a smaller piece of wood, tied it, and then try to see where it can stay. But you have to do this before, you have to plan it in advance. You have to know what you want to do. Otherwise, sometimes you have no chance to do that. Yeah. And what I will always do is to check the space for planting. You might see that this whole area is soil, but some area could be rock directly underneath. So you can't plant. So if you find this kind of area or space, you need to do something. Either remove the rock or, for example, if let's say I know now, just imagine this area, let's say I can't plant because underneath is a rock and I cannot remove the rock. What I'll do is that I put a rock on top. You know, just to say that this space you can't plant because we shouldn't expose an area with soil without planting. So if let's say, for example, now this area is possible to plant, just imagine if that area is not possible to plant, so I would just put a rock here. Let's say, not this piece is too big, but like this, so that this area I don't have to plant because I can't plant. Yeah, so now I would, let's say, roughly check all this up, okay? This area could be difficult to plant. Yeah. What I can do is I can fill up more soil because I think still have space, or I can put a small rock here. It's possible. Yeah.
Josh, so when you set up a tank,
Yep.
you obviously mentioned dark start for say 2 to 3 weeks. What's your maintenance regime in those 2 to 3 weeks?
Nothing.
Nothing at all.
Nothing. I don't change water. Unless I change water, unless the stain is too bad, then I change water. Otherwise, I do nothing. Just let it run for 3 weeks.
And then after planting, what's your go-to maintenance regime?
After planting, okay, before planting, I would reduce the water, maybe 50%, just to ease the planting. And then it is a kind of like water change before I plant. So after planting, normally for the first week, well, basically, there is no different from my regular one because I do water change very often. For my contest tank, it's like 2 times, sometimes 3 times per week. So I think that is quite frequent. So even right after I plant, I will follow this routine. 2 times, maybe 3 times, depending on whether I'm free or not. But I think 2 times is minimum. I like to do water change, but not a lot. I would say maybe 20-30%. I don't change a lot. Yeah. And I'm very fortunate that my water is very soft. You know, the TDS is like below 100. I think it's from tap water is maybe 60-70, I guess. So it is very soft. I can directly do not need to do any treatment or nothing. So I'm fortunate. I know some of you guys are having pretty hard water. Yeah. The and I don't even need to treat for chlorine because I have a tank at the rooftop for toilet flushing purpose. So that tank, the water inside are normally stored for like few days. Yeah, so I directly take the water from that tank and just go in, and I do not need to do any treatment. So that is, yeah. Okay.
Is that rainwater?
No, it's tap water. It's being pumped to the tank, then just keep in the tank to generate better pressure for the toilet. So it is I think it is a huge tank. On every house in Malaysia, we have that tank. It comes with the house. I'm not putting it in the tank myself. Yeah, it comes with the house. So it is. I haven't seen. I never see the tank. I never climb up. So it is big one, and the water. There's a floater, I think, and once we use and water will top up. But the tank is so huge, I think the water inside easily a few days. Okay. Any changes or any addition, anything that you propose to do, or add some rocks, remove some rock, change the height of the soil, the sand. This is our tank, not my tank. Yes? Please.
No, I thought maybe just under here a little bit.
Yeah, but we don't have the smaller one. That is a problem. But I think we can do this easily later. I think the problem with this rock, the problem is that they don't come with very small size. Yeah, so I think the smallest is also quite big, maybe fist size, something like that. So. But I think we could also use some other, if let's say we are putting in this kind of area, which could be dark, we don't have to use exactly the same rock. You just find any rock that it is maybe smoother and gray color, maybe, and then you can do it. Yeah, and we are going to plant. We're going to plant, so I think that should also somehow fill up the area a little bit. But I think I like the idea. Get some smaller rock, just put it inside this one.
Like to use gravel for detailing?
Gravel means what? This?
The gravel, small pebbles.
Yes, but I don't do it from the get-go. I will do it maybe a few weeks before I take photo, because it is a nuisance for maintenance. You put here, after a few weeks, it's all coming to the front, and you have to push them back, and then a few weeks they will come into the front. So I don't do that from day one. It is for detailing. It has no purpose, purely for aesthetic reason. I do it a few weeks before photo. Why a few weeks? Because I want the color to be natural. You can't do it a few days before, because then the color will look too new. So we want the gravel to have some algae on it, and a nice mix with the sand. And not correct. My way of doing it is that if I sprinkle the gravel here, let's say, what I do is that I will use a brush to brush the sand to cover the gravel a little bit, so that it looks very natural. So you have a nice gradient, transition. The transition will be smooth. If you just sprinkle the gravel here, the transition between the gravel and the sand will have a very clear border. Yeah. So what I do is I sprinkle the gravel, and then that's just so that there will be let's say a gray area between, so the transition will be more natural. This is what I do. I would like to explain my planting plan, how I plan to. You have a question? Yeah.
Yeah, it's just a quick one on hardscape. I think you mentioned in your Green Aqua masterclass that shadow was one of the most important things. 5 years on, or since then, is there anything else that you think is as important as shadow in an aquascape?
From contest perspective?
From contest perspective.
I would say impact, as I explained just now, but shadow is part of the impact. Yeah, and this might sound a little bit cliche or shallow. Depth. You want the tank to look very, very far. Actually, ADA, the IPLC, ADA, they don't care so much about depth, to be honest. If we purposely create something that looks very far, if we look at what the ADA usually comment on our tanks, they will sometimes comment that we are trying too hard to create depth. So from ADA's perspective, if you look at the ADA tank, they do not purposely create depth. So sometimes I think we have to be, we need to know how to balance a little bit. But, you know, there are judges in the IPLC. Those judges love depth. If you look at those, let's say, higher ranking tank, they all have magnificent depth because the judges love it. But if you see the ADA comment in the book or sometime during the ceremony, sometime last time in the ceremony, they will comment that this tank is like doing too much to create the depth. ADA will give this kind of comment, but the judges love it. The judges just love the depth. Yeah, so these are a few things. And of course, you want the tank to look natural, and all these are, you know, is part of everybody knows it. Okay, planting. Today, I would like to introduce a very interesting plant to you. According to James and Pavel, I think currently you don't get it in UK.
No. Well,
it is
now.
Yeah, now Horizon got it now, thanks to Pavel and Aquaflora.
Yeah. Well,
it is called Potamogeton Gai. Let's call it Gai because this will be our main plant today. It is a pond plant. Yeah, normally it grow in pond and it comes from Malaysia. Those that we use today, it come from Malaysia. Aquaflora buy from Malaysia and repot or replant them and then supply. So it is a, let's say, quite, I don't know how to describe the plant. I like the color. So it is a mixture of orange plus some green color. So every stem you can see some orange, some green, and it look very natural. And the let's say the secret of making this plant look good is that you have to plant them in close together, densely, not like one stem here, one stem there. It will not look good. So we plant them in a very dense to each other, like one big group here, or one big group there. It will look very, very nice. And it is easy, very easy plant, and it's purling like hell. It's purling like hell. I mean, how many people got attracted to this hobby because of purling? Yeah, I like it, but nowadays I don't purposely choose plant that bubble a lot. But in the past, you know, this is one of the things that people love, and this guy really purling like hell. Yeah, so this will be our main plant. It is a background plant, usually a background plant. So I'm going to do it here, yeah, a lot. This corner, and a bit here. So there will be 3 places with this guy, here, here, here. Maybe this area slightly more, yeah. Then I will use the foreground plant that I plan today is a mixture of HC Cuba plus mini hairgrass. I think these 2 combination is perfect for foreground. I do not like a single foreground kind of execution because I think it is a bit monotonous. Yeah, I always like to mix a little bit. If you don't like these 2 combination, you can find other combination. But personally, I feel that mini hairgrass and Cuba is a perfect combination. And how we should plant it is that we should not plant too many. Just a few clumps of HC with some hairgrass here, some here, and let them grow sparsely. I don't want them to cover everything. If you see my work, my foreground is always some mixture of sands and some plants here and there. So I think this is how, but of course it takes time to look good. Maybe I would say 2 months. If you leave them long enough, the Cuba will overtake the hairgrass. It's strange because usually I thought hairgrass is tall and the Cuba is aggressive. If you leave them for like 3 months, 4 months, you don't find the hairgrass anymore. Yeah. So this will be my foreground plan. And I have the Ranunculus, this plant, this, yeah. I will maybe plant it somewhere, yeah. I do not plan to group them, so maybe it's just a few here, few here, few here, and let them spread. So these are the foreground. And in front of the Gai, I will try to do tennellus, because I think the shape of the tennellus and the color match the Gai perfectly. Gai is also needle-like, the leaf long and wavy and slim. It's just like tennellus, but tennellus is stay at the bottom. Gai is growing up. So I use the, let's say the tennellus to cover the leggy part of the Gai. So that is my plan. And then we also have some subulata, right? I would say, I do not know how tall they will be. Anyone has?
The standard subulata could be tall, could be in the big round, but
okay.
This is different version terrace, which I haven't used.
We can plant it in front of the tennellus then. Yeah, tennellus can be quite tall as well. Yeah, so I think, and subulata and tennellus, they are basically looking quite similar. Subulata could be, it's green and it could be broader. Yeah, so we plant it slightly to the front. And we also have some Cyperus Helferi, long, tall plant. What I will do is that I will plant them somewhere, not like the whole stretch. I will maybe do some here, and maybe some here. A little bit, maybe every part, like, I don't know, 4 or 5 plants, something like that. So let them come out, but I don't want them to form like, the whole thing like a gate or, like a wall. I don't want to do that. So that is the plan. And I think we have some Starogini. Starogini, I will be doing something here because they are very easy to, they grow tall, but you can easily prune them, trim them, and then, so this kind of area. And this area, I will also do it with like the foreground plant, Cuba plus the mini hairgrass, this area. Yeah. And here, at the edges of the rock, also Cuba, maybe some hairgrass. Yeah, mini one. And then also some hairgrass in this area, in this, the slightly longer one. Either, I don't know, how do you call it, Pavula, Pusilla, Acicularis, slightly longer one. So that is basically the plan for planting. Any question or anything that you would like to suggest?
Are you going to be using any epiphytes?
Sorry?
Are you going to be using any epiphytes?
Any what?
Epiphytes.
What is that?
Growing on wood, basically, if you're going to put something on it.
Currently, that is not in my plan because, for example, Anubias. Lately, I don't like to use them anymore. I used them a lot in the past because I feel that they are looking a bit rigid. They are like, I like to use plant that is slightly more wavy, can flow. Anubias, it is not my type of plant at the moment.
Because you stopped making forests.
Yeah, I stopped making forests. The fern is okay, but I think that can be easily added afterwards. Maybe not today, but for this kind of layout, I would like to, if we want to use fern, it is maybe the very small type. Maybe trident is a good option, trident. Do you have trident here? Yeah. So you can just tie them on a rock and then put. So it can be easily added later on. We can adjust it depending on how the tank grow. But currently I don't have that plan yet. But yeah, we can add moss. I have that in mind. For this tank, if we add moss, I would tie it on rock. Tie it on small pieces of rock, and then just see which area you want to. I always call moss as a filler plant. Yeah, it is very useful. You can tie it on moss or tie it on wood, and just put on area that you feel that you need slightly more plant volume. I would not do it today. Yeah, so you guys can see, let's say you think that there are some area that you want to add moss, and you just tie it on small rocks and just put them in.
We'll keep you updated anyway, and if you wanted to add it, then you can add it.
Sure. So at the moment, I do not know how the filter will go this way. The filter.
Whatever you think is going to be best for it. There's two.
So normally in my tank, I will put the two inlet at the same side. I don't know how you guys do it. My tank is big, so I have two filters, so I always put at the same side. And the inlet, outlet, all on the same side. This is how I do. So I want to create a big flow from here, hit the glass, and then turning back. In the past, I do here one on that side, here on this side, and I create a dead spot here because the flow go from here and come from here, collide here, and then here is like hair white turbulent, and then this area it has no flow. So now what I do is that I put everything on one side, so let it go strong to one side, and then it hit that and it will turn back. And you can always observe this, but also it depends on the arrangement of the hardscape. Sometimes if you have hardscape coming up here, it hit the hardscape, and then there will be some dead spot as well. So you have to observe, you see the plant, see whether the plant is moving. I always use the plant as an indicator. If the plant, every spot in the tank, I want to see the plant somehow move a little bit. It means the waters are flowing there. It's important because the water will bring carbon dioxide, some nutrients maybe, and you will maybe minimize the chance of having algae. But actually some plants do not like strong flow as well. There are plants who like to be left alone and on the quiet, like the Blyssia japonica. This is a plant that won't grow well in a strong flow area. He like to add that spot, then it can grow very well. So, depending on your plants and all this. Yeah, so normally I let the plant follow the flow, and that is how the rivers work. Yeah, but somehow, of course, not everything in nature is beautiful. Sometimes if you let the plant flow following the filter, it doesn't look good, and then you have to just cut it or replant or whatever. So what is do you normally spray water or?
Whatever you prefer. I've got a spray bottle, so we can spray it down if you want. Do you prefer planting in wet soil or?
Actually, I prefer to plant. Normally, I prefer to plant with full water.
Oh, really?
But I think we don't do it today. Then we can spray.
Yeah.
We can spray because actually, plant it inside the water is so much easier.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because if you,
I was going to say we can fill it up if you want, if you prefer that.
I don't know. So.
You've talked about shadow in a scape.
Mm-hmm.
Well, in this tank, the left-hand side, the wood seems a lot more detailed, where you get the shadow within the wood, but the right-hand side seems more like
you are right.
Flat. And I'm just wondering if you're thinking about that area as just a contrast between the plants.
No, I say I want to have it. I would like to have more shadows. So there will be a little bit of shadow here, and this kind of areas will be shadow, but not as much as that side. Yeah. This one, I think this is something that I cannot change now. Yeah. I would say I would prefer to have more shadow. You are right. This because the way that I do it, it is like you can't create shadow this side. Yeah. So only you can have shadow some here, maybe here, slightly here. That is all. Yeah. So honestly, I would like to have more shadow on this side as well.
Yeah, I just wondered if you thought, because you're not putting any plants on the wood, that the colour of the wood itself would act a little bit like a shadow between the colour of the plants. Because it's dark.
Yeah.
You haven't got the shadow, obviously, but you've got a colour contrast.
At the moment I can't tell yet, but we will see. If let's say at the end we want to really create shadow, I would do is that put some like the fern somewhere here, so that this part will be darker. But remember, if you put fern on this side, you have to put fern on that side. Yeah, this is something I emphasize a lot, and this is, I think I said it before somewhere, this is what Amano told me personally in 2009 when I participated. I got number 4 that year, so I met him, and then through a translator, he was commenting on my tank. He said, whatever you put on this side, you have to put on that side. With different amount, different height maybe. You can put one here and then one at the bottom here. No problem. You can put one side more, one side less, no problem. But you need to have the same kind of plant on left and right. I remember that comment till today. Yeah, so if we can add some fern here, so that we can create, if we add the fern here, for example, you tie the fern on rock, you put it here, this area will be dark. And then I think you will have slightly better balance in terms of shadow. Yeah, but you're right. I mean, I would like to have more shadow on this side. I thought nobody would notice it.
Also, you were talking about that little area you wanted a rock in, and you were saying you could maybe put a plant in, and obviously your last year's IA PLC entry, you had in the mid-ground some tall hairgrass, used it in the mid-ground. Just you could maybe do the same thing.
We can do it, but as I say, I think we can let the plant grow a little bit and then see how it develops, because I think things like this, it can be easily added later on. We don't have to do it today. Yeah.
I'll just ask one more thing. What does it feel like to be a world champion at something?
It was honestly excited and happy, but I'm used to it already. No, I mean, well, I'm participating now not because of the ranking now. I mean, I just, as I told some of you, it is the motivation is to show something new to everyone every year. This is actually more important. And as for the world champion, well, I'll be still happy if I got it this year, next year, whatever, but it is not the main thing that I'm looking after now. I mean, like last year or the year I did Samurai, deep down I know that this kind of tank will not get high ranking. For last year, I got number 3, which I'm very surprised, because I'm not following the trend. If you see, let's say last year, the champion, the number 2, they are following a certain kind of trend. But I'm not chasing that now. Of course, I'll be happy if I get good ranking, but if not, then I'll be equally happy if, let's say, you guys like my tank. I think, yeah. But for the first time when I got champion, it's funny because the post system in Malaysia is lousy. So for the top 7, they send it by EMS, Express Parcel. And then ADA announced, like, I don't know, a certain date, they'll be announcing the result. And because that year I got champion 2007, I did not receive that EMS letter. Yeah? And then ADA postponed it. Because of me, ADA postponed the announcement to the next day, and I did not get the next day as well. Yeah? And then I got a call to inform me that I was, so I did not get that. Somehow for the first time being champion, it is a bit anti-climax. Yeah, so because everyone want to open the letter and see, but I got a call, like, hey, you are champion. Yeah, so, and I don't know, because, yeah, that somehow is a little bit like not perfect, because I really want to receive the letter and without knowing what is your ranking, open the letter and screaming and all this. No, I didn't get to experience that for the first time. And when I got champion for the second time, which is 2019, what happened is that, yeah, I got the letter. I got the EMS that time, and then I asked my 3 kids to open. I did not know what I got, but I know I'm top 7. So I asked my 3 kids to open, and what happened is that they are fighting, and then they're crying, who want to, and then that ruined everything. Yeah, so for my 2-time IPLC champion, I don't get the good, you know.
So you're looking for one more realistically then, just for a perfect opening and not kids crying.
But nowadays they announce it on YouTube, so that is a horrible process. You know, you don't you know how it feels. You don't want your name to be mentioned too early, and then when you get closer, you want your name to be mentioned, but it doesn't come out. That is really a terrible feeling. I don't know how to feel. Yeah, I hope this year, if they say they have a NA party, I don't know whether they'll go back to the letter or YouTube. I don't know. I would like to do the guy and the foreground first. So maybe some of you can help me. I think one group will be planting the guy here, and one group will be planting some foreground here, so we are not clashing. So mini hair grass and the Cuba. And for Cuba, I want to prepare it slightly different because I see we have a few pots only, which is my intention. I do not like to plant them in a big clump. I want to plant them strain by strain. So, because I don't want them to grow too fast. Yeah?
How does the plants do? Do they need water? Do the plants need water or not?
They're still wet.
Right. Oh.
Josh, just looking at you planting that cubus, there's obviously no aquasoil underneath that sand. So, obviously, majority of the nutrients come from the root base. Are you doing that deliberately just to try and stem the spread of it, to keep it in smaller groups?
Let's say when I do it at home, I directly plant it on the soil without anything. But I would have to do the water column first. But if, let's say, for long term, we might need some root tap.
Okay.
I think root tap, it is. I thought actually we are using version 2 because Amazonia version 2 come with a root tap. So I was thinking to sprinkle before the sand. Yeah, but we can add it on 1-2 months later, so it doesn't matter. Yeah. But for long term, we need root tap. For my contest tank, I do not. I just plant it on soil. That's it. Because my contest tank normally lasts 4 months, 5 months. I think without just on soil is perfectly fine.
Josh, I was just wondering about your liquid fert routine. What's your rough liquid ferting guide? I'm not so, let's say, hot on fertilizer actually, because if let's say for contest tank, let's say 3-4 months, I will take the photo. But if let's say I observe that some plants are growing not to the optimum, obviously I had to put some fert. So I would normally use the how would I call it, KNO3 salt. I just dilute it myself, and then I add on some trace element. That is commercial. Yeah. So I do not really dose from day one. If I dose at all, normally it's after 2 months, 3 months, when the plant is started to grow, and I observe the plant to see whether they are growing okay. There are some instances that I don't dose at all. It's possible because I'm doing contest tank. Yeah, so it's just like 3 months, 4 months with the aqua soil. I think it's perfectly fine. So if it was just a tank at home you enjoying, you just dose as and when you feel it needs?
No, if I dose, I have to have a routine. So normally I dose after every water change. I don't dose daily. So if let's say I do water change twice a month, I dose twice a month, right after water change. I'm not I do not feel comfortable dosing it daily. So I only dose after water change. This is always the case. So depending on how many times I do water change, if 3 times, I do 3 times, 2 times, I do 2 times. So only after water change.
For what reason, the lean dosing? Is there a particular reason? Or something you've just experienced over time?
I think this is, after water change, somehow you reset the water a little bit. So I feel that if let's say I dose more frequent, I don't like to see, I feel that fertilizer is always better to underdose than overdose. So I want to go very slow and steady instead of, you know, doing the daily stuff. And even if I dose, I don't follow the recommended dosage. Always underdose. This is my, no, I don't know how you guys do it. I always underdose. Yeah, if let's say he recommend 10 ml, I will dose 5, 7. So I overdose my, I'm sorry for those who is selling fruits. I overdose my.
That's interesting, thank you.
Josh, you said earlier about filling the tank. Do you always fill your tanks, then plant while they're full?
Yes.
Really? You don't find that difficult?
I find it easier.
Right.
With water, it's easier. Because when you plug it in with water, it stays. Like this, when you pull out, the sand is following, the plant is following.
Yeah.
So with water, it's always easier.
Oh.
I really do not want to plant the foreground very dense everywhere, because I think the sand itself is looking nice already. So I just want the plant to spread a little bit, and then majority is still with the sand. So I do not plant them very dense, and I don't plant them to the tank glass. Yeah, let them grow. Yeah, I think planting this way, it will be good for at least 3-4 months without having to do anything. It will still look good. Even if they are growing a little bit, they will look good. They grow a little bit more, they will look good. So I think that is how I like it. Yeah.
Anyone got any last questions for Josh? No. Fair enough. That's good. All answered. All questions have been answered.
Done.
Thank you very much, Josh. Absolutely beautiful. I'd also like to say a special thanks to our sponsors, who is Chiros EU and Aquaflora, for donating the plants.
Cheers.